Hitler's ruthless SS, masters of destruction and plunder. Their biggest heist was the Amber Room. It's the greatest piece of missing art in the world, and if found, could be worth $250 million. But could the Amber Room still exist? Hidden in a Nazi bunker that people have died trying to find. Thin line between life and death. I'm on the trail of intrigue and violence, following eyewitness accounts and new clues to one of the last unsolved mysteries of World War II.
I'm Ollie Steeds, journalist and explorer. I'm on a mission of a lifetime to solve the strangest and most controversial mysteries of all time. And I'm looking for hard evidence.
I think I'm going to need to investigate this a bit further.
Facts. Proof that inside every myth is a truth waiting to be told.
The Third Reich, the so-called master race. They committed so many crimes against humanity, it's sometimes easy to forget their equally sick and evil genius for plunder. They say that to the victors go the spoils. But Hitler's SS took it to extremes. As part of their plan to remake the world with Germany at its center, the Nazis had a systematic plan to steal great works of art for display back in the fatherland. And perhaps their biggest prize was Russia's Amber Room, called by some the eighth wonder of the world. Built from an astonishing 6+ tons of amber and inlaid with precious jewels and gold, it represented the combined efforts of thousands of miners and hundreds of craftsmen. If it was found today, some people have valued it at an estimated $250 million, making it the single most valuable piece of missing art in the world today. So where is it? That's the mystery I'm setting out to solve. The story begins in a city that no longer exists. Königsberg, Prussia. For centuries, it sat at the border between two great cultures, German to the southwest and Russian to the north. In the aftermath of World War II, the Soviets claimed it as their own, renaming it Kaliningrad. For over 300 years, the city has been the center of the amber industry, and the mines here were the birthplace of the Amber Room. This is the Grand Canyon of amber mining. It's extraordinary. Just down the road from the mine are factories where the raw amber is processed. Appreciated for its beautiful colors, amber alone isn't that valuable, but in the hands of skilled craftsmen, it can be transformed into one-of-a-kind treasures, like the panels that made up the famed Amber Room.
That is cool. I mean, that is fossilized tree resin.
That could be 30 to 50 million years old.
Extraordinary. The gold of the north, they call it. Is that one okay? Happy with that? Yeah.
Ileana's the manager here. This is what I've been looking for. I've been looking for some work pieces of amber which are similar to the Amber Room. How many man-hours went into just making this mosaic frame?
For this one piece, 40 hours.
Just look at this. There are 100 pieces of amber probably that's gone in to making this little frame. The Amber Room had 100,000 pieces. The work involved is almost unimaginable. Almost. The original Amber Room stolen by the Nazis was so beloved by the Russian people, they spent 25 years building a replica. But a replica isn't the real thing, and for 60 years, people from the KGB to amateur treasure hunters have been looking for the original. So what happened to it?
On June the 22nd, 1941, 4 million of Hitler's crack troops invaded Mother Russia. It took them just 2 weeks to reach Leningrad. And what appeared to be a well-planned operation, they headed straight to seize the Amber Room.
It took them just 36 hours to dismantle it and pack it into 26 wooden crates and ship it to Königsberg. With the German curator in charge, the stolen panels were reassembled and put on display in Königsberg Castle.
This delightfully drab government building is called the House of Soviets. The locals like to call it the Monster, and it's won the unfortunate prize of being named the ugliest building in all of Russia. Slightly harsh, I think. But it's built on the location of Königsberg Castle, and today it might not look like much, but in its basement there is an active archaeological dig still going on. 60 years on, the Russians still haven't given up hope of trying to find evidence or a trace of the Amber Room.
Heavy storms recently damaged the site, and it was declared too dangerous for us to visit.
When the Amber Room arrived here in 1941, Kaliningrad didn't look much like this. In fact, it looked every inch the medieval fortress that its architects had designed it to be 600 years ago. But its massive fortress walls weren't secure enough when this city was turned into a war zone. In 1944, the Nazis dismantled the Amber Room once again and put it in 26 boxes and shipped it down to the basement in the fortress.
What happened next is open for a lot of debate, and where my hunt really starts. Some people believe that all 26 boxes were destroyed when the British Air Force bombed Königsberg. Others argue that it survived the bombings, but not the fire set by the invading Soviet army.
Such arguments failed to convince everyone, not least this guy, Joseph Stalin, the then leader of Russia. Stalin believed that the 26 boxes containing the Amber Room were shipped out before his Soviet troops arrived and claimed Königsberg as part of Russian territory. In 1945 and 1947, he ordered that the castle ruins be searched. Not a single trace of amber was ever found. Then both the KGB and the Stasi, the East German secret police, had a go trying to find it. Again, nothing was found. It appeared the Amber Room had simply vanished into thin air.
And there's hard evidence to support the theory that the Amber Room did in fact make it out in the Kaliningrad Museum of History and Art.
This collection represents different metals. We've got gold, silver, tin and copper. And they all managed to survive the incendiary bombs of the British and the fires laid by the Nazis and the Red Army. So if this lot managed to survive in the castle, then perhaps the Amber Room could have survived. These are the outer defensive walls of the old Prussian city of Königsberg that date back to 1874. Underneath, there's a web of tunnels that snake through this entire area.
It was in a place like this that the Amber Room was hidden. So, if artifacts like the ones I just saw in the museum did manage to survive underground, could 26 boxes filled with amber, gold and precious gems also have survived?
So one of the key properties of amber is that its melting point is about 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
After burning amber, you're left with what looks like black melted plastic.
But look at it. It's been charred around the edges. It did burn and it did bubble a bit and did burn off some of its impurities, but essentially it is still there. So, I mean, there was no evidence found in Königsberg Castle of any burnt amber, any residue, or any of the precious stones that were actually in the Amber Room. And that lack of evidence, in my mind, is compelling. Because surely 6 tons of amber and everything with it can't just vanish.
This is Ekaterina Matina from the Kaliningrad Museum of History and Art, which has been excavating the castle for nearly a decade.
If the Amber Room was stored in tunnels and cellars like these, do you think it could have survived?
I think that if the Amber Room was loaded into the cellars of the castle before the bombardments of the Royal Air Force, I think it may survive.
6 tons of amber, which is the amount of amber in the Amber Room. If it was burnt, would there be any trace left of it, do you think?
Of course, it would be some pieces of burnt amber, but we didn't find anything.
So there's no hard evidence of the Amber Room's destruction that I've seen. Which makes the next question, where did it go? Well, it was last seen in early 1945, the last days of the Third Reich. With the British and Americans moving in from the west and the south, and the Russians from the north and the east, there were few places for the SS to retreat to. So that's where I'm headed next.
This is Stechovice, a possible hiding place for the Amber Room. We're actually in the southwestern region of modern-day Czech Republic, but back in the 1930s, well, the late 1930s, this was one of the first areas taken over by Hitler, so it was a territory well known to his feared SS.
I'm here because there are stories of Nazi treasure being buried in this area at the end of the war. It's also the base for one of the most renowned Nazi treasure hunters in Europe, a man with a fascinating lead built on eyewitness accounts.
And these are, number one, Jews spot here.
So you actually met with some of the old Nazis who had escaped to Argentina and Brazil.
Helmut Gansel is a former Czech intelligence officer. In 1962, he spent 3 months undercover in a Czech prison, where he learned the secrets of the incarcerated Nazi commander for Steckovice, SS General Christoph Klein.
There were more prisoners, I got all of them out. And
that's what he's told me so far. He says that cases were brought in by train and then by truck to be hidden in a tunnel built by French and Russian prisoners. Those men and women, 300 of them, then gunned down by the SS. They were buried in a mass grave, along with the location of the secret hiding place. But Mr. Gansel believes that those boxes never made it out of here. They're buried somewhere in this field, in a tunnel known as the Snake.
Crates, brought in at the end of the war and hidden personally by an SS general, using the deadliest of precautions. Could the prized Amber Room be somewhere beneath our feet?
but listen, now you're standing on a space where there were 300 dead bodies. And not they didn't die,
They were murdered.
they were murdered.
Mr. Gansel, what happened after those 300 POWs were killed by the SS?
These 11 SS soldiers, they lined up so that the client could speak with them and tell them about the good job they did. And from the back, Laube with the machine gun was killing all 11.
The SS men who killed the POWs were then killed themselves?
Right.
Hold on a minute, let me get this straight. So 300 POWs were murdered by the 11 SS men. Those 11 SS men were then killed by General Klein and his driver.
Right. By the driver only.
By the driver only. He then gunned down those 11 SS men. So these were the extraordinary lengths which the SS would go to ensure their treasure.
It's very important to them that no witnesses stayed alive.
The Amber Room was last seen stored in 26 wooden crates. So an ultra-secretive hiding place for boxes is exactly what I'm looking for.
I mean, this is where you think it is now, right?
No, I don't think.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, this is where you know.
Also, we make radar. Can show you one this right on the spot, and you can see directly the tunnels here.
So this is what, ground penetrating radar?
Right.
This is the depth. And so what do these red splodges mean?
No, this project, that's the hole. That's the empty space inside.
But this has revealed the location of the
This
snake,
is the location of the snake, right?
the tunnel, which is, you think, well, you know is right here.
Ah, it's right here.
It's right there, okay.
But we can't dig it up. After years of negotiations, authorities in the area still feel the politics of what could be down there are too sensitive to touch.
I mean, obviously, the Amber Room is central to my investigation here.
Right.
Could the Amber Room be in some of those boxes in this tunnel?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. You never know. I cannot tell you what is in there, but...
Gansel believes the snake holds other treasures, possibly even the numbers of Nazi bank accounts worth billions. It's frustrating not to be able to dig here and find out for sure. But based on his research and his radar scan, I think I found a credible source. And he does know of other locations where crates mysteriously disappeared in this area. Could some of those have contained the Amber Room?
According to Mr. Gansel, This remote field became a secret landing strip for SS planes at the end of the war, around about April 1945, just before Berlin fell. One thing, one particular event that you described were these two U-52 Junkers cargo planes that crash landed in this field. What happened to them? Why did they crash land? And what was their precious cargo?
No, why they crash landed, supposedly they had no gas anymore. Again, they were not supposedly to land here. They were supposedly to go to Spain. Landed right over there, one behind the other. They unloaded the boxes. The next day in the afternoon, they dismantled the plane. They are hidden somewhere here in this gorge down there.
Well, so let me get this straight. There were two very large SS cargo planes that crash landed here. The planes disappeared, their cargo disappeared, and no one's ever found either.
No.
This all sounds incredibly mysterious. More tales of lost crates that have been flown in from Berlin. Whatever the cargo was must have been incredibly precious because, again, extraordinary lengths were taken to conceal the whereabouts of both the transport planes and the cargo itself. The plot thickens. At every turn, we seem to find more unanswered questions.
Mr. Gansel's conversation with another eyewitness next takes us deep into the woods, where an SS barracks and dining hall were connected by a bridge.
I mean, well, this is extraordinary. There is a very good source, Elisabeth Aubert, who was married to an SS guy. She was SS as well. They were based here. There was a bridge going over here. She was walking across it one day, and she saw SS soldiers down here with some POWs.
Yeah. And where we are standing right now, all this was loaded with boxes.
How many boxes?
No, she said about 30, 40.
What kind of size?
Larger size, not very wide, but larger size.
Gansel has learned that the SS built 3 secret tunnels into the hill near the bridge.
Like a war prisoner.
But only 2 have been found.
Yes. Because they are in the...
He believes the elusive third holds the boxes Elisabeth Aubert saw that day.
It's getting close. So that's...
This is one of the tunnels.
This is one of the tunnels. It's the shortest one.
Before we go, I just want to get a sense of just how difficult it is to find these tunnels, because at the moment it looks pretty easy to discover, right? But how would the Germans have hidden this entrance?
No, first of all, they put concrete blocks in here.
Okay.
You see? After, they get stones, and they put in the stones here exactly like it's the hill.
So what have you found in these tunnels?
Mostly what we're finding is ammunition, guns, machine guns.
But what's interesting is how well these metals and this ammunition has managed to survive over the years.
It's the same temperatures in these, all in the tunnels. It doesn't change. Winter, summer, doesn't matter.
And just looking at how well this metal and this ammunition has survived, I think that the Ambrum could well have survived as well. Do you think?
Definitely, because this was in regular boxes. The Ambrum, the panels packed very good.
So if you wanted to ensure that it was well kept, you need to store it in a damp environment like this tunnel.
Gansel hasn't found the boxes that fit Elisabeth Aubert's description, or the lost third tunnel. And obviously, I haven't found the Amber Room. But these are all real leads. Hard evidence that the Nazis were hiding treasure in this region during the frantic end of the war. And new excavations at a mysterious castle nearby are revealing even more of their secrets. I'm searching for the pride of the Russian Tsars, the Amber Room, stolen by the Nazis during World War II and never recovered. My investigation has led me from the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad to the Czech Republic, one of the final strongholds of the SS at the end of the war. Here I've seen the remnants of secret Nazi tunnels built by prisoners of war and heard eyewitness accounts of looted treasure hidden throughout the countryside. Now I've come to a place called Zibro, the very center of Nazi operations in the country.
During the war, Spiro Castle was one of the headquarters of the SS. It's also built on a strange rock called jasper, which has a curious quality of actually amplifying radio waves, making this place one of the most important listening posts for the Nazis. But towards the end of the war, local residents witness a large number of mysterious crates being delivered here under heavy guard. Those crates never leave.
This 12th century castle still holds many secrets. A cache of weapons and SS documents were discovered here not long ago, inside the fortress's very deep well. I'm going in for a closer look. During the excavation, evidence of a false bottom was discovered, along with a sealed secret compartment on the side wall. Both are now underwater and believed to be booby-trapped. What were the Nazis trying to protect?
Okay, and be careful for head.
This well dates back hundreds and hundreds of years, but the Nazis actually used it when this was an SS base. The Nazis threw all sorts of things down into this well, including old weapons and documents, as well as some grenades to booby-trap it. But one thing is for certain. If the Amber Room was brought into the castle, it couldn't have got down this well because the cases are too big to fit through this narrow well passage.
But SS documents found in the well might contain evidence of Nazi treasure hidden elsewhere within the castle.
I'm with Mr. Jaroslav Paka, the owner of the castle. So this is the artifacts that you found inside the well. And do these SS documents give us any clues as to any Nazi treasure that could be buried here?
No, there is no proof of any relation to any treasure or any secrets. These documents are lists of members of the SS left here in the castle.
What about the rumors of large numbers of crates being shipped in here towards the end of the war?
10 days before the end of the war, planes came with boxes, and the boxes are still here. We don't know where they are because the German soldiers changed into civilian clothes and went to the American side because they were afraid of the Russian army. So the boxes are here, but we do not know where.
No one knows what was inside those crates. If the Amber Room was inside those crates, then those crates would not have fit down the well, so they must be somewhere else in the castle. And they could represent millions and millions of dollars of treasure, of wealth. There's something that Mr. Paka really wants to show me that he found here completely by accident. In fact, the greatest surprises are the things that you least expect.
This stairway was carefully camouflaged by concrete. It was only discovered when plumbers came in to repair a leak and started ripping up the floor.
What is this place? Looks like an old cabin, an old cell. It says that this cell is 17th century and it wasn't used by the Nazis, but it was filled with debris from that era. But what this really tells me is that this castle is full of these hidden tunnels, these caves, which have remarkably been undetected for many, many years. So perhaps there could be other tunnels, other caves under here that could be housing those boxes which arrived here towards the end of the war that never left. And those boxes could be holding the Amber Room.
And this wasn't the only secret passage discovered during Mr. Paka's renovations, after he bought the castle from the Czech military.
I mean, just look, you can see there's very clearly some steps going down here.
This stairway could have been sealed by the Nazis before fleeing the castle.
So we've got 1, 2, 3 steps, and then it ends abruptly.
It clearly looks like a deliberate hiding place, maybe even for the Amber Room.
I mean, I'm intrigued to know what is beneath this concrete, because whoever put this concrete down here is hiding something, whether it be an entrance into the castle or something buried beneath the castle.
I'm a little bit skeptical, but also curious. So if the radar will show a concrete vault, I'm curious to see what's inside.
It's a bit of coaxing. Mr. Pash has agreed to allow us to drill through here. These steps are going somewhere. We don't know where they're going. But they could be going into a cavern, into some sort of stairwell. And maybe in there, it could be the Amber Room. That's what we've got to find out. Hey,
The first step is to scan the site using ground-penetrating radar.
Right, well, let me show you the way. We've got a cavern here, but before we're allowed to drill, we've just got to smooth over the surface so the radar will get a smooth picture of what's underneath here. And this area hasn't actually been moved and altered since the Czech army left in '93. And they arrived here in '47, so whatever's under here hopefully has not been disturbed since the Nazis' times.
Some say the concrete was added to seal off access to the castle from below. The more intriguing theory is that there's something to hide. It's exciting to think we may be this close to potential treasure.
We've come down to the bedrock layer here, and it looks like these rocks have been sealed using some sort of cement. Let's call in the driller. Bring forth the drill.
The drilling is progressing much slower than expected. After 6 hours, we're only 4 feet down because all we've hit is the Jasper bedrock.
So the guys, they've been working hard at it, but I don't know, it's about as interesting as watching paint dry, except with paint drying, you know you're going to get an outcome, you know you're going to have dry paint. With this, I'm not so sure anymore. Oh, man.
Ale musimy, tam myślę, że jaki to
Well, this is my nemesis. It's called Jasper, and it's an incredibly hard rock. Initially, we thought we were going to be going through concrete, but in fact, this is what we've been going through. Either we're going to have to call it a day in the next 10 minutes, or we're going to finally break through. Every time I hear a noise like that, I think, that's it, we're breaking through, we're going to hit that cavity. It's unbelievably frustrating.
What seemed like a promising lead has gone nowhere. The extreme density of the Jasper, combined with false data from radar waves bouncing off the rock, has put a stop to our drilling. In the end, we could make it 4.5 feet, but no further. It's another dead end in my search for the Amber Room. But I have found proven Nazi hiding places all around this border area between Eastern Germany and the Czech Republic. Helmut Gansel believes that the Amber Room is here, in this region somewhere. I just haven't found the right place to look. But that may be about to change.
Just crossed over the Czech border into southeastern Germany. I'm in these tunnels which are connected to the old copper and silver mining that's been going on here since the early 16th century. A couple of meters above me is the town of Deutsch Nudorf, but I'm here actually to meet its mayor, a guy called Hans-Peter Hausten. He's a member of the German parliament, but since the Iron Curtain fell 20 years ago, he's been looking for the Amber Room.
The mayor here is certain that the Amber Room was hidden in the network of mine shafts built into the hills around the town.
Don't you think the Amber Room and some of this Nazi treasure is here?
The first clue came from a high-ranking member of the SS, who said shortly before his death that the Amber Room and the other things are located here in this area.
The mayor has evidence of 5 separate deliveries of boxes. The contents of those shipments remain highly controversial.
Not everything regarding World War II has been completely resolved. There are secret documents that could be located here, and the Amber Room could have been used only as a disguise.
He shows me a copy of one of the many death threats he's received. warning him off his search. And they're not just against him, but also threaten his family. He takes it as a sign that he must be getting close to Nazi treasure.
Amber Room is known and distracts people. But the most dangerous things and the reason for the death threats are the documents that must be hidden here.
Yeah, I guess you must understand the risks which you're taking, especially regarding your family, and so it must be a very difficult decision which you've come to make with that.
Yes, sometimes I think of quitting, but I can't. This is my purpose, my call, the path which I will take, and it is not easy.
Transport by train.
In front of us is another path, not easily taken. This one to the door of a bunker that was destroyed by the Nazis at the end of the war, to keep its contents hidden forever.
Haustein tells me that at the end of this tunnel there is some evidence of a detonation, and he believes that the Nazis actually blew up the end of the tunnel to conceal the entranceway into a bunker that he believes houses some of their most precious stolen artifacts, including the Amber Room.
The mayor warned me it was dangerous down here, and now I can see why. You could easily get lost in this maze of claustrophobic tunnels.
But it splits again.
In the chaos of the end of the war, this would have been a perfect place to hide the Amber Room, quickly.
Well, from this point on, it's hard hats only. It's a restricted area, there are no lights.
Deep in the mineshaft is evidence that the SS had indeed been here, and for a reason.
This is not the mark of a miner. It is a rune from the SS. They were here and left the mark.
The tunnel's got a lot tighter ahead. From here we're on our hands and knees.
This point on the front.
A bit cosy, isn't it?
That's okay.
Alright, this is the end of our path. This is the end of the tunnel. Well, it seems very clear that dynamite was used to detonate this part of the tunnel. And it doesn't look like it's the end of a mining tunnel. It looks like it is going somewhere, because you can see down there's another one of the supporting beams, which is now more or less covered in the rubble that was created through the explosion. This seems like pretty good evidence that the Nazis were incredibly determined and desperate to conceal whatever they were hiding down here. But for us, we can't go any further here. It's going to be very difficult to get a scanning team in here. It's incredibly dangerous. The mayor has just told me that where we are sitting is on a thin line between life and death. And you can see why, because we are precariously holding this shaft up with these thin pieces of wood. All roads seem to lead to what's beyond this point. The only place we're going to be able to access that is from above ground, so we need to clear out from here now and get the scanners going and hopefully get some drillers to start working from the top, because there's just no way through here. Let's go.
It's going to take us a while to get out of this tight space, but a scanning team should already be making a first pass above us, in a location the mayor suggested. Hopefully, he's chosen wisely.
And all our roads of our investigation seem to lead here to this field in the frozen, icy rain. The weather is closed in on us. It's about 0 degrees here, and yet it's still raining. The rain isn't melting the frost, because the rain for some reason is freezing cold, but it is threatening our equipment. Could the Amber Room have survived underground all this time? I don't know.
The first scans of Mayor Haustein's hilltop location showed nothing but solid ground. It seems we've hit another dead end. Everyone is getting frustrated by our inability to even find a hole in the ground with radar.
Point us in a direction.
Problem is, we really need a surveying team that could be able to pinpoint our exact location underground and tell the scanning team up top exactly where to scan. Otherwise, it's an imprecise science, and we're not going to be able to find the bunker, so we won't be able to give it a proper scan. Therefore, when we come to drilling, we're going to be drilling who knows where.
So let's see how much I remember from my school days and try to figure out an alternate hilltop location to scan using
Basic trigonometry now. This is the most exact map that we've got, and this maps the tunnel system underneath the surface. So if I can get these distances right underneath the surface, then I'm hoping to be able to work out where the coordinates should be on top of the surface.
But I'm beginning to wonder if there really is a curse connected with the search of the Amber Room, because I've had nothing but bad luck. I've brought in the scanning team from the Czech Republic with the plan to utilize an experimental radar technology able to create a three-dimensional picture of what's really down there. But due to this suddenly nasty weather, we can't use that high-end gear because it's not waterproof. Hopefully my math skills are still up to par.
That's what we found. Bunker?
And the mayor shares why he really thinks he's onto something here. A series of death threats, warning him to abandon his search.
Protect yourself. If you are successful, history will have to be rewritten.
My search for the Amber Room has brought me to this hilltop above Deutschendorf, Germany. Using radar, we're scanning the ground for signs of a secret Nazi bunker that the local mayor believes is the final resting place of the stolen masterpiece.
Any luck? Could this be a bunker? Apparently not. Let's try again. We've been out here in this icy mist and rain for a few hours now. We've tried to scan down there where the mayor suggested, but I've had a look at the maps, been trying to triangulate the right position, and I think it's up here. So I'm hoping that if we scan this area here and that way, it will reveal the bunker, or at the very least, where the tunnel is. Clear as mud. Which is good, because we are scanning mud at the moment.
No matter where we look, the readings show nothing but solid earth. The conditions have me stymied again. We'll have to look for tunnels the hard way and hope we get lucky.
Tomorrow, well, we're hoping the weather's going to be better, but it looks pretty set in. But tomorrow we're going to try and drill.
Mayor Haustein believes some of the mining tunnels in the area connect to the bunker. Specifically, the shaft with the SS rune that was dynamited closed. Hopefully, by drilling test holes, we can find a back way into the bunker.
Yeah, if there is a labyrinth of tunnels, these tunnels could run anywhere under here at any point. So, literally, I could be digging 10 meters down here, but a meter along could be where the bunker is, and I completely miss it.
Let's hope my luck is of the good variety. A railroad map the mayor recently discovered has given us some possible locations to drill.
We've got the best drill team we can find in East Germany. We've got a drill, we've got a massive compressor, this thing, and then all the drill bits there. We've got the capability to go down 80 meters. This is our spot we've been given by Mayor Haustein. He says drill here. And we hope that somewhere under here we'll gain access to this labyrinth of tunnels and bunkers which are meant to be under here. It's our last chance. That's what we've got to keep an eye on. There's a little hole in the drill bit which is spewing out the things which they're drilling through. So if any concrete or anything unusual pops up, then we'll be able to see it. That'll be the first clue. 3 meters down now, and we're going to get a bigger drill bit. Yes, we've turned up some interesting information, and Lots of clues, but no concrete evidence, no smoking gun. And even if we don't find the amber room now, I just want to find something.
But there are others who don't want anything found at all, and Mayor Haustein has that in writing. He shows me a copy of one of the many death threats he's received, warning him off his search. And they're not just against him, but also threaten his family. He takes it as a sign that he must be getting close to Nazi treasure. Next, he reads me the reason the letter sender is so concerned.
And you can say you are looking for the Amber Room. Your town contains something much more valuable. What could be hidden here is the so-called Jewish silver from Königsberg, as well as Himmler's archive on Jewish extermination.
The letter also warned that the tunnels we're searching for are
secured by explosive and poisonous booby traps.
But what's most chilling is how the letter ends.
You will be observed by all possible and impossible people. Protect yourself. If you are successful, history will have to be rewritten. And there are a lot of people in this country who won't like that at all.
And it seems that the brutality of that war still lives on today. People trying to unearth the truth of what happened during that war, both in terms of what happened to priceless treasures like the Amber Room, and also for people who are responsible for some of the most horrendous and brutal acts that humans have ever done on other humans. Still be felt today.
I give the mayor a lot of credit. Cryptic threats haven't scared him off his search for the Amber Room, and whatever else might be hidden with it. In fact, he just takes it as a sign he's getting closer.
Stand bombing. So the drill's going through very slowly through this granite layer. So who knows what's beneath this granite layer? Slow progress at the moment. We've gone down 10 meters so far and still nothing. No evidence of a man-made structure whatsoever. Well, it's a hole. Well, they're over 30 feet down now and nothing, just compacted soil and granite. So I think we're going to reposition our drill and see if we have better luck.
After drilling 2 holes and a total of 53 feet, all we've hit is soil and granite. No tunnel. It's time to call it a day. It's very disappointing, but we've literally run out of places to look. But I have uncovered much more than I expected. The people and stories I've encountered, from Kaliningrad to the Czech Republic and even here to Deutschendorf, tell me this isn't a closed chapter of history at all. There's much more searching to be done.
65 years after the beloved Russian icon was last seen, there is still great interest in it. And this holy grail of all Nazi treasure is so important to Mother Russia that they spent 25 years and millions of dollars trying to replicate it. Although I still feel that's just not enough. Especially for the treasure hunters. They will keep looking until the mystery of the original Amber Room is finally solved.